Hey, what is going on YouTube? Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and oh boy, do we have a highlight for you guys today. This video will double as the first look and XP record, I guess, video for the Petropavlovsk. Now, I say XP record, and it's kind of, a clickbait little, to get you guys in the game because I'm sure the XP record is going to be shattered. This thing is amazing. It's definitely not the PC version that we all saw in Flambass's video, but this thing is very good for the tier 8 equivalent, as we point out the AFK DD on the live stream here. So if you guys were on this live stream this morning, let me know in the comments down below. But guys, this thing, this ship is incredible. I boosted my way, so this thing is fully upgraded. As always, stats and commander guide at the end. Make sure you guys give this video a like, subscribe if you're not already. We're gonna have a lot more content. There's a lot of ships. I actually really like the A gear as well. It's just I didn't have as great of games. I want to treat that thing like a battleship and it's a cruiser. That and the small end, besides the little aiming bug that is on the small end. There's a lot of fun ships this update. Regardless of that, we are going to go around the outside of A here. You can either go on the inside or the outside, but we had the team support, so we're going to push this outside flank here. We do have the RPF twist and track or intuitive perk, so we are able to see our closest ship as we see a Mino lose half of his health. But yeah, a fun little fact about the Petro is these guns are 360 degrees, so you can basically spin them around. Now, sometimes it does kind of hurt you because you will be going one way and they'll spin to the opposite side, but just a fun fact about the Petro. It'll probably help you in most cases because you can spin those guns one way or another. When going around the outside here, though, you want to be careful. You do not want to push that corner too aggressively here. Now here, I was actually said it on stream, I was like, I wonder if we can lob this. But because the Petro has such high velocity, I think it has the highest velocity shells in the game. We had to angle out just a little bit here. But we can see that A is being capped, so we know that something is in there, most likely a destroyer, as our Shimakaze wants to balance out this game nicely by going down in such a forward position in, 2 minutes there? But here we pop our Hydra, we're slowly rounding this corner, and there is the Hayate caught with his pants down. And that is the AP, 8 overpens, but guys, you honestly would want to keep the AP loaded. The rule in Legends is 280, I think, 280 millimeters, always overpen destroyers. So sometimes if you catch a destroyer at angle, you will be able to penetrate them. But with how high velocity and how much pen these guns have, you're most likely going to just overpen destroyers. But there was a penetration, so especially on some Russian DDs and other heavier armored DDs, you want to keep the AP loaded. But here, this Hayate is just completely caught. One of those Alaskas did radar, so we are able to see him while we rack up the defend medals here. He was actually shooting AP, and this thing's armor is, do not show broadside in this ship or you will get deleted. But the armor, the casemate, and just the overall armor package this is a really good ship, guys. I'm just in love with this ship. But down goes the first ship there, and that's when we get another radar from, I think it's the other Alaska, I'm not sure, but this gearing, it might be the Mino, actually. But that gearing is spotted. It said it on screen. I'm just not paying attention to it. The gearing is spotted there, and we're going to shoot at him. And that is where the dispersion, you could see on screen, I'm like, Wargaming, give me something better. So that is the balancing factor. No, this thing is not the most accurate, and I know some people are going to see that shot and be like, oh my god, this is the worst ship ever. Well, you got to deal with RNG, right? And here is another example of that. Now, this is at range. I have noticed at like 12 kilometers and in, this thing is just a laser beam. Now, apparently it does have the same accuracy as Riga. I think the pen, it has a little bit of a shorter fuse, though. It has the same pen, I think, and a little bit of a shorter fuse because I am getting citadels where I would not with the Riga. But here's a situation where I maybe don't lead these correctly, but that Colbert just gets so lucky, dude. Over pens, and that was actually a good grouping there, but it just didn't, that one I didn't lead correctly. It just didn't sit right. But there's the Citadel. We are actually running the Epic reload mod on this thing to get the reload down a little bit more. We are running also a full DPM build. So we have a 10-second reload as opposed to like the base 15-second reload. But these shots aside, just pay attention. Trust me, you want to stay for this entire game because this game, trust me, it's worth it. We almost rack up 200K here, and we get some nice citadels. We actually end up, I don't know if I'm going to put it in the title, but we end up with 14 citadels here. Here, I'm getting a little greedy, popping my radar for that Mino. He was, broadside in his smoke there, but he did angle. Now, the good news is we are not detected because of our positioning here, and this ship is going to truly highlight how good you are as a cruiser player because the maneuverability is not that great. There, we aimed maybe a touch high, but we still get 2 citadels, take out his engine, and we're going to hold the shot for the blind fire here. And yeah, good night, Mino. Thanks for playing. Enjoy that smoke screen. But what we're talking about is a lot of people, you can argue maneuverability, rudder, agile, whatever you want. A lot of people just put maneuverability on their ship, and they think that makes them a great player. And this ship, you cannot do that in. I'm sure Hipper will have his full rudder build, but this ship is going to fully rely on your positioning. And here we have a slightly angled Stalingrad, and we actually tick another Citadel. He's at a little bit less of an angle, and boom, there it is. If you catch some heavy cruisers, even light cruisers, you can see me just kind of cheesing the stream there, you're going to absolutely obliterate their broadside. And that Stalingrad has just enough armor to arm a lot of those shells, so you could see the angle he was at, and I'm on stream there, just nice. And here where we actually this is where the turret traverse actually comes back to haunt you. We saw this Yamato over here, and on stream I was like, man, I should have stayed on that side or stayed in A, because earlier today I actually caught a Yamato broadside with another viewer, and we got 5 citadels just before that viewer put like 5 or so torps from a daring into him. So I truly want to get next to a Yamato and see what we can do. But just stay tuned, because we actually make a gamer turn here. A little bit of a risky turn. If that Palmer was there, we probably could have got yeeted. And here's where their 360 turrets hurt you. They should have kept turning the other way, but because of my the position I'm looking at, you can see they're turning on the backside of the ship there, which is funny. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. But here I wanted to get the position on this Yamato, so our team is actually doing a decent job. I had great teams. I went 15-2 this morning. So yeah, tell me about playing at night. Let's see what we do tonight. Americans, we have to do better. No, it's update day. But anyway, here we have position on this Yamato. Thank goodness this Alaska kept backing up and just didn't immediately go for the ram, because it allows us to do something dirty to this Yamato. Here the Yamato shoots, but we're not worried about it. You can see that armor. We just kind of shrug this thing off. And I'm not going to lie, we do get trolled with dispersion here, but that first shot, if I would have aimed it a little bit better, it's a nice shot. 8K to a Yamato, 4 out of 6 there. Now here, and we actually knock his gun, which if you know anything about armor and the turret armor on the Yamato, you know that's pretty impressive. So I'm just cheesing it here. There's one Citadel. We actually get caught a little broadside, so make sure you don't show that broadside. 2 Citadels. We got trolled with dispersion and grouping there, 2, 3, and unfortunately we do not get any further shots, but there was 2 more to tick the high caliber. And unfortunately, that Yamato pulls the gamer move and rams the Alaska here. Here, this is known as a super unicum beaching position. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go ahead and speed this clip up here. But we have 2 full health ships, the Worcester and a near full health Palmer in there. Not sure what the Worcester was doing, getting a massive flank while his team lost the game or needed his help. But we're going to go ahead and take some shots on him. He gave us the broadside, and unfortunately, we get trolled pretty heavily with the RNG. If you're noticing, some of these shots don't have the best grouping, which is notably so. So maybe adding Scott or Scharnhorst on there might help. Again, we're running a full DPM build, but I might experiment with a few other builds here. I also feel like I should have gotten a few Citadels on that Worcester, and we could have ticked around the 200K mark, but alas, RNG will RNG. You guys also need to be aware, you're not going to get Citadels every time. I hate when I just see this portion of the player base. And granted, when a player does make a mistake, it is insanely frustrating that they don't pay for it. This Worcester was caught broadside multiple times. We should have, we should have gotten the kill a long time ago, but RNG is RNG. You have been saved just, as many times by RNG as you've been, let down by it. But there we get the nice finishing touch on the Worcester. And I'm realizing, I'm like, wait a second, that's 4 kills. Can we get the Kraken? We've already got the Confederate and the high caliber. We've already had a fantastic game. 14 defends, 1 solo cap, and 14 citadels. I like it when all the numbers are like the same, right? 14, 14, and 4 there. I don't know, it just does something in my brain. But here we have this Pommern who was a few updates late here and realizing that the Pommern is not really that good. But we're going to get the angles here. We're going to move into position and try and finish off this Pommern. The AP on broadside battleships, you should just aim for upper belt and superstructure at this range. Although I have citadeled vanguards and a few other ships at 15 kilometers. So maybe experiment with waterline, whatever you feel comfortable with. The pen on these guns is absolutely insane. We will have a few YouTube shorts highlighting this on a Yamato like we talked about and actually taking all of the health of a Mogami. I wouldn't use the HE like we talked about earlier. The AP is just really good unless you're kind of in a bow tanking fest, at which point I would just aim for the guns. We had a little confrontation earlier, which we broke the guns off of a Stalingrad. But here we have this Pommern broadside, and we get a little bit trolled again. I probably didn't aim, those shells the best, but just a little trolly grouping. So I may play, like we talked about, I may play with a few things to get that grouping under control, because if we can get that grouping under control, and there we take maybe a risky turn or a risky broadside, but when you angle, we angled during the middle of that turn, we were fine. He literally got 1 overpen or 1 penetration on our side armor. And here we're just trying to tell our team to get back. We want the Kraken. And I actually think the Awami pinged it towards the end. And that's some pretty good grouping and dispersion there. 4 pens for about 6K. So, on an angled battleship, though. So this Awami was trying to feed me the Kraken. So shout out to him. I appreciate that. But here we get a few more shots. He's fairly angled, so we're waiting for the enemy team to shoot, and that's when I say I'm taking it. That's the one, and of course, on that shot, we get the most accurate dispersion. There it is. You can see my reaction on stream. That's how you do it, baby. And for the finishing total there, I have a nice 91,000 damage with a 3991 with the 5 kills, high caliber Confederate Kraken game. So a GG's to the players on our team and a GG's to the enemy players. Thank you for letting me sync you. The Petro is absolutely busted. I say that and people are going to be like, well, you're going to get it nerfed. It has its balancing factors, so it's not the most broken thing that we've seen in this game. I think it's fairly balanced for tier 8. I really hope they don't, I honestly hope they make it more accurate. But again, we talked about it. You cannot have 9 shells flying in the same hole every time. Here is our commander build. We are running BD Lightful. Now, again, you could probably run Kuznetsov with this build. I'm not running Lightful for his trait or her trait with Snow Maiden, the Snow Maiden guys there, but we have Beyond Range, Intuitive, Punch Through, Fixated. We are not running Roar. Roar adds to your concealment, and the concealment on this ship is very good. So we just stuck with Fixated and Refill Station there for the DPM. We're also running Einstein, which may be a little questionable for you guys, but the turret traverse, as we said in the video, is very, very slow. So on top of that, we have Membelli, but you really honestly would want to think about speccing into your turret traverse. Here we have aiming systems, propulsion, concealment, and the epic reload mod, which is basically the same thing. You get a few seconds off of your reload when you get 30, 60, 90, and then 120 and 150,000 damage there. So I wasn't paying attention to my reload during the game, but I'm guessing it was shortened significantly. Here we have the ship statistics. 45,000 health maxed out or fully upgraded. It's a lot less than the PC version, but you really don't need that much health. Again, I would like the health. It's always nice to have, but the armor makes up for it. The armor is very good. And here's the shining, the shining light of this ship is the guns. The 220 millimeter guns are just fantastic. We've got 18.3 range, which you don't really truly need that much range, but the Russians have that extended range. A 10.6 reload time, and there you can see, even with Einstein, we have a 36-second turret traverse time. So I would definitely consider putting Einstein or maybe another, Madden or something just to help with that turret traverse. On top of that, we have a 96 AA. The AA is kind of irrelevant. You'll be going up against legendary carriers or tier 7 carriers, and most carrier players have no idea what they're doing. Also, I think it's the short range AA, which is good. So you're not really affecting the ships out, which the AA is just one of those things where it's probably just a number. But you do have a 96 rating at tier 8, so whatever that means to you. Here is the weakness of the ship, the maneuverability. You can see that turning circle. It's almost as big as the GK. It's nearly 1,000 meters there. The rudder shift is fairly slow. You do have a decent top speed of 33 knots there, but you're not blistering anywhere. So again, this ship is going to rely on your positioning. A lot of people like to misposition and then use their rudder to get out of it. You cannot do that in this ship. And here we have the concealment 12.4 by C with the full concealment build. We're not running Mikawa, but anyway, there's my ship stats. I'm going to brag a little bit. Pretty good average damage. There's only 7 games there, but, it's a little representative of my overall stats. Something I was paying attention to is my potential damage. It's almost 1 million. That's near battleship range. That and our average damage output. Now, again, these ship stats, there's only 7 games, so we've got to play at least about 50 to make it, semi-relevant. But, yeah. Anyway, here we have the armor, and this is kind of the last saving grace of the ship. You only have a 25 millimeter nose, which can be matched by 15 and up, but it doesn't matter because you have such a strong icebreaker. On top of that, you can see the belt there is fairly orange, so, angling. If you just put your nose in, you'll probably get overmatched. But if you put yourself at like a 15 to 20 degree angle, they'll probably miss your nose and hit your belt. As you can see, though, if you show broadside, like we showed a little cheek to that Yamato, and he took a Citadel from us. But you combine that with the casemate there and your nose, and you've got a fairly tanky, protected, ship and a protected Citadel there. So. This ship is really good. They did nerf it. It's not the PC Petro, but I still really enjoy it. It's still really good. I hope you guys enjoyed that review and, a little XP, quote unquote, XP record game for our first look. And, shout out to everyone who was there live when it happened on stream. And you can see me giving the peace out there on the stream. And I'm going to give the peace out here on the video. Appreciate you guys being here. Hey, Aaron out. Peace.